Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to today's video. And today we're talking about we're focusing on the discussion of your world is your mind pushed out. Okay. What if we were to live in such a manner, if we were to truly believe and truly abide by this truth, this fact, this principle, that how we make the world in our mind eventually trickles out into our physical reality, our 3D reality. If that were true, what would you be doing mentally? If it were true that the world that you're living in right now, currently, is actually just your mind pushed out. It's your mind hardened into fact. For those of you who listen to Neville Goddard lectures, you know that you've heard Neville Goddard say this many times, or if you've read his books, you've heard him say, the world is in fact your mind pushed out. So a lot of people are familiar with that. And from my own personal experience, in actually testing this and experimenting with it, I have found that this is true. There's nothing that you're going to encounter in your world that wasn't first imagined by you. Most of the things that are imagined by us are done unconsciously. Most of our day, we're actually rehearsing. We're actually mentally rehearsing conversations that we're having with other people. We're mentally rehearsing conversations. We're hearing people say things to us, and a lot of the times, this is happening unconsciously. We're not conscious of what's happening. But if you are to become conscious of your thoughts, of your thinking, of the mental dialogue that is going on in your mind, if you're actually conscious in directing your thoughts in such a manner where you're thinking about things and how you would like them to be. For example, if I'm going throughout my day and I'm carrying out mental conversations in my head with other people, and I'm consciously curating those conversations, meaning what I'm doing is I'm hearing people tell me things that I want to hear. I'm hearing people tell me that I've succeeded at something. I'm hearing my friends congratulate me that I've achieved something. I'm hearing loved ones telling me that they love me. I'm hearing myself telling other people that I love them. If I can maintain that space, that conscious thinking throughout the majority of my day, and it's making me feel good, it is only a matter of time until that reality that I've created in my head actually manifests and becomes real in physical reality. The conversations that I was having in my head actually manifest, and I actually start to have those conversations with people in physical reality. Now, like I said, for those of you who are into Neville Goddard and manifestation, this is something you already know. For those of you who are just getting into it, this may seem like a little bit of a stretch. And my only advice to those people who doubt that this is true is to actually test this out for yourself and experiment with this. Okay? So my recommendation to test this out and to experiment with this is to consciously curate conversations with people that are in your life. This is the easiest method for me. Take your friends, take your parents, and ask yourself the question, if I were where I wanted to be in my life, if I were living the life of my desires, if everything that I wanted was fulfilled, what would people be saying to me? What would my friend be saying to me if I had the business that was making me a lavish, consistent income every month? What would my friend be saying to me? Hear them say that. Hear that conversation. Hear how that would play out. If I had achieved my goals and desires and I was living a life in alignment with my purpose and I was living my passions, what would my parents be saying to me? And I was successful at it. I was making a lot of money and I was doing a lot of good for the world. What would my parents say to me? Can I hear them tell me that they're proud? And for a lot of people, we have so much, we've been thinking so unconsciously, when we're always hearing in our minds, let's say, for example, the parent example, we're hearing in our minds our parents telling us that it's not possible. We're hearing those voices in our head, and that's carrying out unconsciously. That it's almost at first very difficult for us to hear our parents congratulate us, or hear them tell us that they're proud of us, and that they love us, and that they support what we're doing, and that they're so happy for us. At first, it will be a little bit difficult, especially if you're someone who thinks negatively most of the time. At first, it will be difficult to change your thinking. But this is the test of life. This is the battle of life, to change our minds, to consciously imagine things how we would like them to be. If you can get this right, and if you can do this, and if you can make this your lifestyle, and just the simple way that you live is to always be thinking about how you would ideally like things to be, and always think about what people would be saying to you if you were the person that you wanted to be, and carrying those conversations out in your head. If you make that the priority in your life, you will find that what you think about and that way of thinking, what you're thinking about, hearing those conversations and hearing people affirm to you in your head that you are the person that you want to be, you'll find that if you make that your dominant state of being, it will actually happen. It will actually come into fruition. You're going to wake up in the physical world, and all the things that you were imagining and thinking about actually happen. They come into fruition, and you're going to look around and be like, wow, it actually is. I'm actually living what I consciously created in my mind. The crazy part about all of it is that it happens so naturally that once you get there in the physical world, it's almost as if it just happens so naturally. You forget that you were the causative force for everything that happened, because it happens so naturally. You're carried through these circumstances, through these bridge of incidences that get you to where you want to be. But you're not concerned with any of that. What you're concerned with is just what's going on in your mind, the conversations that you're creating in your mind. Your world is your mind pushed out. You must get this clear, because the implication of your mind, your world is your mind pushed out, it means that there is no other causative force besides your own imagination. There's no other causative force in your reality, in your life. Nothing outside of you has any causation on the life that you're living, except for what you imagine in your own mind. It all comes back to you. You are completely and totally responsible for everything that you encounter in your life. If you encounter something in your physical reality that you do not like, it is likely because you imagined that thing unconsciously, and it manifested, it became real. So what you like, this is just so core and so fundamental, because if you actually live in this manner, if something happens to you that you don't like and that you don't desire, you're not going to say like, you don't have anything else to blame. You don't have anyone else to blame. You cannot blame another person for things going wrong. The only person that you can blame is yourself. And you have to fully accept the responsibility that I imagined this thing unconsciously. Now that I'm conscious that I did that, I need to revise things. I need to change things. Okay, if I do encounter something in my physical reality that I don't like, I understand I imagine that thing unconsciously. And now that I'm conscious of that, I have to take that thing and I have to revise it so that I flip it in such a way where I see things exactly how I'd like it to be. I see this circumstance, this this whatever this thing is that I'm encountering, I see it in a light in my mind of how I'd like it to be, right? And that can apply to anything. If you have a relationship with someone right now in your life and it's not going how you want it to be, understand. And maybe they're saying things to you that you don't like. Understand that you actually manifested that relationship. That everything that that person is saying to you, everything that that person is telling you, they're only saying those things to you because you first imagined that. At some point in your past, you imagined that, you assumed that state of being, and now it manifested and it became hardened into fact. Okay? You have to accept that responsibility, because if you don't, you're going to continue to imagine unconsciously, thinking that there's other forces that are causing your reality to become manifest. There are not other forces. It is all your imagination. It's all happening in your mind. Your world is your mind pushed out. Like, this is truth. You have to treat this as fact. This is not something to be taken lightly. You need to treat this as like, this is the truth, this is the fact, and test that out. Experiment with that, because once you do experiment with that, and once you actually accept this as like, this is a fundamental principle, and you actually start consciously curating the conversations in your life, you start consciously curating the conversations in your mind, and you start hearing people tell you the things that you want to hear, and you start imagining things in their ideal state. You start seeing people how you'd ideally like to see them. When you start doing this and you get that momentum going, you get that spiral going, what you'll find is it actually starts to happen. And that reality that you've created in your mind and your imagination, it becomes real, it becomes manifest. And it happens so naturally in your physical world that you will forget that you were the one who caused it. Okay? But always, 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 always keep this in mind. And just remember that. Live in this fashion, in this manner, that everything that you encounter in your physical world, you manifested it. You have to accept full responsibility for it, because if you encounter something that you do not desire, it's because you unconsciously imagined it into existence, which means you were not conscious. You were not, you might ask yourself, I would never manifest this thing into my life. It's like, no, you were unconscious when you manifested it. So you didn't know what you were doing. But once you become aware, you can change things. You can revise things. You ask yourself the question, how would I ideally like this situation to be? What do I want this person to be telling me? What do I want to hear this person saying? And that's when you do your visualization exercises before bedtime, and you go into your mind, you go into your skull, you get into a relaxed state, and you hear that person saying exactly what you would like them to say if everything were exactly how you'd like it to be. You play that scene over and over again in your mind. You feel the satisfaction of hearing them say that. You feel the relief. You feel the gratitude. You feel the feeling that everything is exactly how you'd like it to be, and you drift off to sleep in that state. And if you do that, it will manifest. It will become real. Even if you try to change it, it will become manifest. It will become real. So that's just what I wanted to share in this video. We all need to take full responsibility for everything that we encounter in our physical reality. There's no other causative force for what manifests in our lives other than what we're imagining and what's taking place in our mind. Okay, so just be clear on this and accept full responsibility, and you will find that your manifesting abilities become a lot stronger. You become a lot more conscious as a result of accepting this as a fact. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. If you like this video, if you like this message, if you like my content, go ahead, give the video a like. And I want you guys to, action item tonight before you go to bed. Choose someone in your life that maybe you've been having some problems with, some struggles with, and I want you to hear what they'd be saying to you if your relationship was healed and if your relationship was exactly how you'd like it to be. Okay? I want you to hear them say those words in your mind's eye, and I want you to keep on repeating them, having them say those things until you feel the satisfaction of them saying that thing. Okay? That's your homework, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.